Okay, let's give you guys some practice now. So given a function here, f of x here equals blah 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 blah. I want you to work out the range of this function here, the domain, and f. Well, when you put two into the x here, well, what do you get? So work out f of two. Okay. So yeah. So try to draw a graph of this thing. That once you've drawn the graph, you get some ideas. You get at the moment you may be a bit lost, but if you draw a graph, you get some inspiration. You get some ideas on how you can go about answering this question, find out the domain, and maybe this as well. So try to draw a graph. I'm going to assume you know how to when given a quadratic, I'm going to assume you know how to complete the square. You know how to sketch a graph, and well, I've done a whole section on this. Look under quadratic equations, okay? But I'm going to assume you know how to complete the square. So press pause and have a go. Okay, so to do this here, first try and sketch this graph, just so that you get some idea of what's going on here. So when x is small, this term here dominates. So it will have an intercept of 6, positive 6, a gradient of positive 5. So maybe something like this. When x is big, this term here dominates. So it wants to do a quadratic. Okay, when it's big. So when you compromise, the quadratic will look something like this. You're assuming it crosses the you're assuming it crosses the x-axis, but just to be sure, factorize this. So when you factorize this, it will be well, two numbers multiplied together gives you 6, but when well somehow you've got to be able to create a 5. So here I've done a whole section on this. So if you don't understand this, watch quadratic equations. So here I'm going to use a 2 and a 3 because well when you get 2 times 3 it will give you 6, and I'm able to create the 5 using the 2 and a 3. So when you factorize this thing here, it will be x plus 2 and then x plus 3. You see, when you put x equals minus 2 in here, then this thing will be 0, making the whole thing 0. Well, anyway, this will be minus 3 here, and this will be minus 2. Badly drawn, not to scale. Okay. So your graph will look something like this. Now the range. Looking at the range here, you see the graph. The graph gives you some sort of idea. The range will be well, infinity is up here, so it can be anything up here. Okay, but the range stops here, around here, at this level here. It stops at this level here. So the range is around here. Okay, but so your next question is, what is the smallest possible value that this thing can be? And the way you find out this point here is to look at this and complete the square on this one. So let's try and hang on. Let me clear this. So to find out this point here, you need to complete the square. So let me clear this up. So far we've got this here, minus 2, and this here minus 3. Okay, and the graph looks something like this. And we want to know this point here, the lowest point that f of x can be. So the way you do that is to complete the square. So completing the square, it will give you this. Hang on. It will give you x, and then you're going to need half of this, so it will be x plus 5 over 2, close it off, square it, and then you're going to, well, this bit here, you've got to be able to complete the square by heart, so it should be second nature. If you don't understand this, watch the section on quadratic equations. So I'm assuming you know how to complete the square here. So now when you square this, it will be 25 over 4. So you immediately take away the rubbish, okay, which is 25 over this. Okay, so this thing here, this whole thing here, can be rewritten as this thing here. Okay, so you can imagine this as being f of x equals this. So this thing here is exactly the same as this thing here, but just written differently. Now the lowest possible value that this could be is when you put negative 5 over 2 in here. When you put negative 5 over 2 in here, this whole thing here would be 0, and 0 squared would be this. Well, anyway, this point here, the x value here will be minus 225 over 4, and the lowest possible value that this thing here could be is minus 25 over 4. Okay, so the range, hang on, so the range here would be the range here would be hang on, would be minus 20. Oh, hang on, it can include the minus 25. You can put the minus 25 over 4 in the range, so it would be a squared bracket. Okay, so it would be minus 25 over 4, and then comma, and then it's everything above it. That's our range. So it will be infinity, and then close it off. Okay, so this here would be our range. Okay, and the domain would be, well, the domain, it could be anything on the real number line. So the domain here, you would say domain is this, x belonging to anything on the real number line. Okay, and f, well, what this symbol is saying is that you've got to put 2 into this x here. Well, if you put 2 into there, what will this whole thing be? What will this whole thing be here? So if you put 2 in, well, here it wants you to do this. Put 2 into here, so that would be 4, and then this here would be 10, and then this here was 6 here. So add these all together, it will be 20. So this thing here will be 20. Okay.